Keflavk Airport west of Keflavk and 50 km southwest of Reykjavik. The airport has 3 runways, 2 of which are in use, and the airport area is about 25 square kilometers. Most international journeys to or from Iceland pass through this airport. The main carrier at Keflavk is Icelandair, which has the airport as its main hub. The airport is almost exclusively used for international flights. Most domestic flights use the much smaller Reykjavik airport, which lies 3 kilometers from Reykjavik's city center. Although seasonal flights from Akureyri fly to Keflavk, Keflavk Airport is operated by Isavia, a government enterprise. Originally, the airport was built by the United States military during World War II, as a replacement for a small British landing strip at Garur to the north. It consisted of 2 separate 2-runway airfields, built simultaneously just 4 kilometers apart. Patterson Field in the southeast opened in 1942 despite being partly incomplete. It was named after a young pilot who died in Iceland. Meeks Field to the northwest opened on the 23rd of March 1943. It was named after another young pilot, George Meeks, who died on the Reykjavik airfield. Patterson Field was closed after the war, but Meeks Field and the adjoining structures were returned to Iceland's control and were renamed Naval Air Station Keflavk, for the nearby town of Keflavk. In 1951, the U.S. military returned to the airport under a defense agreement between Iceland and the U.S., signed on 5 May 1951, with the re-establishment of the military air base at Keflavk during the 1950s. The air terminal found itself in the middle of a secure military zone. Travelers had to pass through military checkpoints to reach their flights, until 1987, when the civilian terminal was relocated. The presence of foreign military forces in Iceland under the NATO-sponsored Iceland-US Defense Agreement of 1951 was controversial in Iceland, which had no indigenous military forces other than the Icelandic Coast Guard. During the 1960s and 1970s, rallies were held to protest the U.S. military presence in Iceland. The protests were not effective. One of the participants was Vigdís Finnbogadóttir, who later became the first female president of Iceland. The 3,000-meter long, the Concorde had been there earlier. The airport is also an important emergency landing runway for large aircraft in transatlantic operation in the ETOPS system, which requires aircraft to always have less than a certain flight time from a suitable landing site. The airport was used as a hub by WOW Air until it ceased operations on 28 March 2019. The terminal is named after Leif Erikson, who was the first European to arrive in North America. It was opened in April 1987 and separated the airport's civil traffic from the military base. It was later extended with the opening of the South Building in 2001 to comply with the requirements of the Schengen Agreement. The North Building was later enlarged and finished in 2007. The terminal has duty-free stores in the departure and arrival lounges. In 2016, the current terminal was expanded. The expansion added 7 gates. There are also plans to add a 3rd runway. Although the population of Iceland is only about 350,000, there are scheduled flights to and from numerous locations across North America and Europe. The largest carrier operating out of Keflavk is Icelandair. WOW Air was the 2nd largest Icelandic carrier and the 2nd largest at Keflavk, following its acquisition of Iceland Express on 23 October 2012, until it ceased operations on 28 March 2019. The airport only handles international flights. Domestic flights and flights to Greenland are operated from Reykjavik's domestic airport. The following airlines operate regular scheduled and charter services to and from Keflavk. See source Wikidata query and sources. Transport between the airport and downtown Reykjavik is a 50 km journey on Route 41. Buses are operated by Airport Express, Flybiz, and Strætó to Reykjavik. Taxis are available outside the terminal. Rental cars are available from various companies. A 49 km long railway, the first in Iceland, is planned to link the airport to Reykjavik in order to relieve one of the country's busiest roads. The railway will accommodate high-speed trains of up to 250 km per hour, which will enable the distance to be traveled within just 18 minutes. As of 2016, construction was to begin in 2020. As of 2019, plans were still active but had not come much further than in 2016. Media related to Keflavk International Airport at Wikimedia Commons.